doesn't say H now? I don't know. I don't know any of these things. Good morning. Okay, I'm getting YouTube set up because I'm a little late, so bear with me. Bear with me, please. Okay. I have to run through a little, list of stuff you have to do. How are you guys doing today? It is Non-Believers Bible Study. We are in Exodus chapter 20 something. I'll look in just 1 second. So grab your Bibles, grab some coffee. If you're friendly and you want to come up, do so. Make sure that you like the live, share out the live. I don't know what. Okay, I have a gift goal, but I guess some people don't have the kitty cat. But if I pin it, you can. Don't forget to send the heart me's and the populars and stuff, and then collect your points so that you get your points and our team grows. Give me 1 second to get YouTube set up. I don't have a theme song for the Bible study yet, but I should come up with a theme song for the Bible study. I want to go here, schedule, Non-Believers Bible Study. I don't remember where we are. We were in Exodus 27 last week, but we went a few chapters in. So let me see where we ended, because I do have it marked. I think we might be in maybe even 30 now. I don't know. Yep, we did 20. Oh, we did 30. Oh, we are in 31 today. Exodus 31, y'all. Exodus 31. All right. And y'all, some of you better come up and spend some time with me this morning. Don't leave me up here alone. I don't want to just read the Bible to you. I want people to join me. I want some friends. I'm going to get a new computer, and when I get a new computer, I won't have to do all this, because when I go live, it'll automatically go live everywhere else. Hey, Ron, I did start at Genesis 1:1. Like, do you really think that we read the whole Bible in a day? We started at Genesis 1:1, and we are now in Exodus 31. If you want to see the rest of the Bible study, you can check out my YouTube. I am CrystalJae, Jae on YouTube. Okay. Shay, come up when you're done running errands. I would love that so much. Hannah Grace, if you want to come up, you can come up. Yeah, that was kind of sucky of a party-saurus. I don't blame you. Oh, okay, I better finish setting this up, huh? I'm talking too much. Alrighty. Nope, not what I wanted. How do I make that bigger? I guess I go like this, huh? That didn't help much. Okay, now I can do it. I am trying to. I probably look so dumb right now. I'm sorry. This is really riveting entertainment, isn't it? I'm trying to fix the window on YouTube so that it's the full window. I'm so sorry. You guys are like, wow, this is so boring. Why did I come here today? All right, you guys, I'm going to share out the live to a few of my biblical friends and see if we can't get some of them to come in here and talk Bible with us this morning. And again, if you're friendly, come up here and join me this morning so we can study the Bible together. I don't want to be alone. So also, we need to get, I know there's only 5 of you in here right now, but if you guys can get me to 1,000 1,000 likes and 100 shares, that would be awesome. Let's see if you're around or you're around or you. Definitely you. Definitely you. Definitely you. Boom. See if we can't get some people in here. I don't know you, Tom, but I could meet you. Hey, Tom, can I get your age real quick?
37?
Okay, and are you a Christian?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you come up to join me for Bible study today?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Usually I know the people who come up here, and I'm like, okay, I'll bring Tom up. I don't know him, but I'll get to know him.
And you have a follow.
Awesome.
Where to begin? So I grew up in Ireland. So I grew up in a very Catholic country. I probably renounced religion when I was about 16, 17, when I started asking questions about other religions and was told that's not right. Um, and then I started looking into history a lot more and realizing Christianity has taken a lot of
Yeah.
other festivals from, I'm going to say pagan religions, because they were religions. People believed in the sun, the moon, the earth. Um, my favorite is the story of Eden. Someone said Genesis 1:1 there.
Yeah,
So
they did.
um, Eden, or Edon in Norse mythology, is the garden where trees with apples grew, and the gods would come and eat them and live 1,000 years. That's how they kept their immortality. Loki killed unalived Adon and kept the key to the garden to himself, which caused Ragnarok, all the gods to unalive. And if we look at Genesis 1:1, Adam's punishment because he ate the apple was to live 1,000 years. So even just that little segment, how Christianity has taken a lot of religions from across Europe and decided to make them their own. We look at Saturnalia, which has become Christmas. It used to be a Roman festival of gift giving for a week at the end of the year, where servants would become masters, masters would become servants. We also can look at Easter, which falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox, which does sound a little pagan for some reason.
Wait. I have to correct you because I thought that Easter fell exactly 13 Sundays after Christmas.
No, so Easter falls on
Let
the.
me look that up. Hang on.
Yeah, sure.
Because when that's what we were told. So I'm not questioning, like I'm questioning because every time I find out, like I want to know, did they lie to me or,
You
what was
are
the deal?
perfect. You are the perfect example of be curious, not judgmental.
Easter is calculated, oh, you're right, based on the first full moon following the vernal equinox, which marks the start of spring in the northern hemisphere. It is then observed on the following Sunday. While the actual date of the vernal equinox can vary, the church uses a fixed date of March 21st to simplify the calculation, known as the ecclesiastical equinox.
Hmm.
Hey, Tiny, if you want to come up and join us, we're going to be in Exodus 31 today. We're just reading through the Bible, but we're not adding any of the dogma or doctrine when we read it.
Um, yeah. So when we look at like other religions outside of Christianity, it's crazy to see how many ones that came beforehand are celebrated through Christianity now, just with a different branding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, as a Christian, like you are so sheltered, and I like to tell people about what it was like for me so they can understand, because if you know me, and you'll get to know me, Tom, I'm not a stupid woman. So when you go, this woman lived 40 years of her life believing all this bullshit and she's not stupid, so what about it, what I mean, made her like fall, but you get
So
indoctrinated into it,
yeah, but
and that's how they
people
do it.
people need faith to help them get through some tough times, and I'm not discrediting that. What I dislike is, as you say, the indoctrination of
Yeah.
bringing like young children in. For instance, like I didn't teach my daughter about, she's 7, I didn't teach her any religion, not a thing.
That's good.
And if she wants to find religion later in life, that is completely her choice, and she can find any one she wants, be it Buddhism, Muslim, whatever she needs to help her get through her own life. um, so I don't look down upon people who do have faith. I do like to point people in the right direction of where certain things do come from. Um, while you have your iPad in front of you, if you
Mhm.
look up a place called Newgrange, it's a place in Ireland. It's one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see because the significance in it is awesome. So it is older than the Pyramid of Giza. It is older than Stonehenge,
Wow.
and it has,
I'm gonna go find
markings
this
all
now.
over it. Yeah, it has markings all over it that are from Neolithic periods, and there's other versions of that dotted around, but that one's significant because the 3 people buried in there
Hmm.
had the same DNA as some of the pharaohs of Egypt.
Wow.
And on the 21st of December, the little box opening above that door, the sun
Hmm.
rises. The sun rises in the east, right in front of it, and the sunlight goes all the way down to the end of the chamber for 17 minutes. And it's the
Wow.
only time of the year. So the engineers that obviously built it worship the sun. So again, like there are plenty of evidence that there was other religions around before obviously Christianity came along, and labeling people as
Oh,
barbarian or pagan or
yes.
whatever else
That's what I was
is,
gonna say. Was the other things that, like, you are so sheltered as a Christian that you are told not to look at anything else, not to read anything else, not to educate yourself on other things, because those things can be demonic, or they can pull you away, and they can weaken your faith, and so don't do it. So
yeah.
because of this, I never knew about the Epic of Gilgamesh. I did not
Hmm.
know that Yahweh was a part of a pantheon and was a Canaanite war god. I didn't know about Ashura. I didn't know about so many things. And so that's why we do the Non-Believers Bible Study. That's why we're going through chapter by chapter. We're reading it for what it says. But we also do ask questions, and we look them up. A lot of times I have very good friends who are rabbis come and join us up here. Dagda just came in. Dagda, hopefully you'll be able to come up today. And we look at it for its historicity. We
Hmm.
look at what the actual Hebrew says.
Well, that's
And
great.
that's what we're doing. So we're going to
Okay.
go ahead and get started, y'all, on chapter 31. I'm reading from the NRSV. The NRSV, not the updated edition, though. I do not have the updated edition. But we can look things up. Also, I just got a flash goal, so if you guys would help me get 8 heart me's. If you already gave me one, you won't be able to do it. But if you haven't, please send me a heart me, and let's knock out this flash goal real quick. Okay. Chapter 31, verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses, "See, I have called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with divine spirit, with ability, intelligence, and knowledge in every kind of craft, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, in cutting stones for setting, and in carving wood, in every kind of craft. Moreover, I have appointed with him Oholiab, son of Ahisamach." I hate these names. "Of the tribe of Dan, and I have given skill to the skillful, so that they may make all that I have commanded you: the tent of meeting, and the ark of the covenant, and the mercy seat that is on it, and all the furnishings of the tent, the table and its utensils, and the pure lampstand with all its utensils, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offerings with all its utensils, and the basin with its stand, and the finely worked vestments, the holy vestments for the priest Aaron, and the vestments of his sons for their service as priests, and the anointing oil and the fragrant incense for the holy place. They shall do just as I've commanded you." Okay, any questions or commentary on that paragraph? How are you today, Dagda?
Surviving. Got my day off today, so I figured I'd join.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to join us today. To me, when Dagda, you know me now, I just see God as just some bougie narcissist who's like, yeah, and I need to have the finest gold, and I need, like, what kind of a God needs any of these human things? It's just so ridiculous. All right. Moving on, verse 12. This is the Sabbath law. The Lord said to Moses, "You yourself are to speak to the Israelites. You shall keep my Sabbaths, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, given in order that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath, because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does not work on it shall be cut off from among the people. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, holy to the Lord. Who does any work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. Therefore the Israelites shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout the generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel, that in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed." I do not know how an all-powerful God needs rest. I don't get that. I also don't know how any Christian can work on the Sabbath and think that that's okay. And also how any Christian thinks Sunday is the Sabbath is beyond me.
They don't work in the service industry.
According to God, you weren't allowed to work at all.
That's what I'm saying. They don't realize the service industry, you have to work.
Oh, I see what you're saying, but no, they all work. Like they literally work on Sunday. Like, you shouldn't be having church on Sunday because you're making your pastor work on Sunday. If Sunday is your Sabbath, which it shouldn't
But
be.
oh well, I see what your point is. But isn't your pastor or your priest meant to be the next person to God? So therefore, he is
Right?
the voice of
In
passing
the
that message.
But in the rabbinical tradition, rabbis didn't work on the Sabbath.
No, I get that. Yeah,
So a pastor shouldn't be either. Like everybody is supposed to be resting, So if you're all going to church, one, that's not resting, If you're
it is
preparing
resting
for
if you have
the
a boring priest.
yeah, I guess if you're sleeping in the pew, it is resting. Huh?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be staying home and watching football, you guys. Tell your pastor that the reason you don't go is because it's the Sabbath.
But even then, the football players are working.
Yeah, they're just heathens, though.
I've got to dip because I've got a
That's
class in like 2 minutes.
okay, Tom. Thanks for coming
I'll
up.
be
Nice
back.
meeting you.
You
All right,
too.
you
Bye.
guys, everybody follow Tom. I'm going to drop you a follow, and yeah, everybody give him a follow. All right, Dagda, anything from you on the Sabbath?
No, I think you pretty much said it. I was going to bring up
Oh.
it's kind of odd how priests and like clergy members all work on the Sabbath when they're strictly told not to. And they stoned that guy or whatever they offed him.
Yeah.
And like, what about those guys that were working on that day there? Like, they all turn a blind eye to themselves, but everyone else, they're always expecting something.
Absolutely. Hey, AK's here. Maybe she can come up and hang out with us. You guys, I have a flash goal right now of the heart me's. If you haven't sent me a heart me, and you can really quick because you've got a coin, please do so. It's intellectually disingenuous to conclude these things when you won't study the original meaning. I do study the original meaning. What are you talking about?
That's kind
First
of
of
what
all, I'm reading from the NRSV, which is one of the closest translations to the original meaning. But if we have any questions along the way, we literally stop and read the Hebrew. You've been here 3 minutes and you're judging me, and you don't even know what you're talking about. Good job.
And judge not unless ye be judged themselves.
Exactly. AK, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm just
So,
it's fishing season in
what?
Alaska, and my dad and his friend went down to the fish wheel on the Copper River, and so brought us some fish. My mom brought me some fish, and I'm clearing out fish that I have from last year. So I'm thawing salmon for salmon salad and smoked salmon.
Nice. I love that. I invited Deborah up. I don't know if she's working, but maybe she can sit up here at least or something. She might be on her lunch break or something. Okay, we are in chapter 31 in verse 18 now of Exodus.
Ah, yes.
I'm going to give you a second to get there.
Hold on, I gotta find my Oxford annotated from 1962.
Okay, Deborah. Come sit if you want, and then you don't have to speak.
Exodus 38.
No, 31.
Oh,
Verse 18. We're almost done with it.
okay. Are you wanting me
Okay,
to
ready?
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just wanted to make sure you were there. All right. When God finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the covenant, tablets of stone, written with the finger of God. Okay, so just so you guys get a real quick rundown, God talks about how the guys who made everything were like the best people ever to make everything, best craftsmen ever, blah, blah, blah. Then they talk about the Sabbath law. And we were discussing how, we don't get how Christians celebrate the Sabbath on the wrong day. We don't get how Christians are okay with going to church on what they think is the Sabbath, because going to church in and of itself would be considered work. Making the pastor preach is literally making him work. And then the way they go home and make like Sunday barbecue and stuff, that all would have been considered work. And so they're totally cool with breaking the Sabbath. And and let's see. Also, why God needs a day of rest. Why would an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving God need a day of rest? I don't know. I don't get it. I cast Crystal. How are you? So we talked about that, and now it appears we're about to get the two very famous tablets. Hey, Forrest, come on up if you are free. We're doing Bible study, and we are right now in Exodus 32. You guys, thank you for being here. If you can keep tapping the screen. I do not get pushed out on the FYP until I have 5,000 likes and 100 shares. So until those two things are met, I never get pushed out. But once we do that, I'll start getting pushed out. And if you guys can help me do that, I'd appreciate it. And the weird thing is they don't show you the shares anymore as the creator. So I can't even tell people oh, hey, we need 10 more shares or anything. I can't see them anymore.
Just for the record, your shares are going to be weird too from creator to the person who's watching, because if I send 3 different shares of 15, or let's say 4 different shares of 15 people, it'll say 4 down at the bottom corner. But if I do 60 individual shares, it'll show up as 60.
Yeah, it is weird. I hate that. Alrighty. Okay, we are on to the golden calf. Do gold, come on up if you can. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered around Aaron and said to him, "Come, make gods for us, who shall go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." Aaron said to them, "Take off the gold rings that are on the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off all the gold rings from their ears and brought them to Aaron. He took the gold from them, formed it in a mold, and cast an image of a calf. He took the gold from them, formed it in a mold, and cast an image of a calf, and they said, "These are our gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a festival to the Lord." They rose early and the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought sacrifices of well-being, and the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to rebel. All I had to say is Aaron is not very loyal. It took a whole 2 seconds for him to say, "Give me some stuff, I'll make you something to worship," okay? He was kind of a weak prophet, right? G, come on up and join us for Bible study.
What
Hey,
book?
Joyful. We are in Exodus chapter 32, the first paragraph.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? How quick they were to melt down their gold and replace Yahweh. He must have been a really shitty God for them to be Yahweh. He must have been a really shitty God for them to be yeah, fuck that guy. Let's just go make a new one, right?
I'm definitely tapping, sharing, and then
Thank
Crystal.
you.
Crystal, do you think you're? I don't even know if you can say this word, but shadow banana.
I do. I'm going to have to talk to my agency about it because, but once I see how my, I'm getting pushed out more. For some reason, I literally have to have 5,000 likes and 100 shares. And once I get those, they start pushing me out. But before that, I cannot get it pushed at all. No.
Okay, well, I'm one of the fastest tappers in the game, and I just did 30 shares. So
Yeah, I agree, G. It does seem like they never wanted this Yahweh. He forced himself upon them. And the minute that he was gone for just a day or two, they're like, "Okay, you got any more of them gods back there? Because this one's not good anyway. Let's just make something new."
Because he doesn't understand
Aaron was
consent. This God does not
Yeah.
understand consent.
He does not. And I think this just shows that the Israelites didn't want him from day one. They were like, we don't really want him. Oh, that's okay, Dagda. No worries. Okay. The Lord said to Moses, and hey, Pinkbeard, if you want to come up, come on up. The Lord said to Moses, "Go down at once. Your people whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt have acted perversely. They have been quick to turn aside from the way that I commanded them. They have cast for themselves an image of a calf and have worshipped it and sacrificed to it and said, 'These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt.' The Lord said to Moses, I have seen this people, how stiff-necked they are. Now let me alone so that my wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them. And of you I will make a great nation." What a loving God. Like, because as a mother, I have said things like that before. Now leave me alone so I can just have my anger burn against my children so that I can consume them. You know what? He's so dramatic for one, and he's so evil. Hey, Chach, I know I was a little late today. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I have started, I know that many of you have noticed, to wear makeup. And I'm slow at it. I'm slow. I'll get faster one day. But, yeah. So what do you guys think about the way he's saying that? You guys can chime in so I don't have to talk to myself.
I always find it amusing how he says stiff
To that.
necked. Like he's literally.
And by the way, just to that
insulting
person's point about the consent thing,
I think you guys have a little lag or something because you both talked over each other and I couldn't hear what either of you said. So, Dagda, what were you saying? And
it's
G, you're one of my inspirations. You're one of the reasons I've been doing my makeup. You and Christina. Okay, I'm sorry, Dagda, go ahead.
it's all good. Get Forrest to see what he was saying.
Okay, Forrest, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I'm getting lunch. Sorry, so my Wi-Fi cut out. But you were saying earlier, like they didn't actually want this God, and that somebody else said that Yahweh doesn't understand consent. So my point was actually that if you ask Christians about objective morality, and you say, hey, like what's an objective moral, that you should be able to find in the Bible, and you convince them that that consent is in there, or consent is good, you can't find that anywhere in the Bible.
Right.
Like nowhere.
It is not in the Bible. I think I talked about this the other day, that when Christians come up on Joel's live, he often will say, when they're talking about objective morality, he'll say, okay, so let's do a little thought process. Let's talk about objective morals. So do you think it is objectively morally good to ask for consent and not grape a person? And inevitably they say, of course, and he's like, okay, great. Now, can you show me in the Bible where that says that? Or
And the
shows
answer
it?
is no.
Exactly. So, yeah, for real. He does not care about consent. And obviously I think this shows that these people never wanted this God to begin with. They were like, we will worship a literal cow before we will continue to worship this useless God. But let's move on and hear more about these people. Okay. But Moses implored the Lord his God and said, "O Lord, why does your wrath burn hot against your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say it was with evil intent that he brought them out to kill them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce wrath, change your mind, and do not bring disaster on your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, how you swore to them by your own self, saying to them, I will multiply your descendants like the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have promised I will give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord changed his mind about the disaster that he planned to bring on his people." So I want to bring up something I keep forgetting to say. So I don't remember. I want to say it was one of the rabbis who I heard this from, but I cannot remember. But I believe that there is at least some scholars or people who believe that the calf was actually to them something they could worship of Yahweh while Moses was gone, and they couldn't talk to Yahweh because he was their mouthpiece, right, to Yahweh. So they weren't actually worshiping a different God. They were making an idol to worship Yahweh, and he was still this pissed at them because they missed him. It was like they wanted to smell their boyfriend's sweatshirt, you know? So they made a little something to make him remember him, you know? And he was still this pissed at him. And then here again is a God that is just ready to wipe us off the face of the planet because of his jealousy, that he supposedly, that love is not jealous, but he's all loving. You know, it's just contradiction after contradiction. And then here again is a God who can't remember things, a God who forgets, and he has to remind him again. And then here's a God who again changes his mind, even though he is not a man who would change his mind. This paragraph is pretty damning for God, if you ask me. Just this one paragraph. Any thoughts? All right, I'm going to move on. What book and chapter and verse? Oh, hi, Cajun. We are in Exodus, and that was verses 11 through 14. And now we're moving on to verse 15. Then Moses turned and went down from the mountain, carrying the 2 tablets of the covenant in his hands, tablets that were written on both sides, written on the front and on the back. The tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, engraved upon the tablets. When Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, "There is a noise of war in the camp." But he said, "It is not the sound made by victors or the sound made by losers. It is the sound of revelers that I hear." Any comments or commentary, questions, anything anybody wants me to look up?
Sounds like he has his own theme song going on in his dome.
Yeah, it does. It really does. As soon as he came near the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, Moses' anger burned hot, and he threw the tablets from his hands and broke them at the foot of the mountain. He took the calf that they had made, burned it with fire, ground it to powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it. Actually, that's one of Joel Reed's Bible's favorite parts of the Bible. He's just like, Moses is so damn petty, he makes them drink it, you know? By the way, that would probably kill them, because you can get metal poisoning, right?
Well, yeah, it's a heavy metal, so it'd like go straight into your
Yeah.
system.
Yay! You guys, Rabbi Bert is here. You know, Rab, I'm sorry I still call you Rabbi Bert. Does that bother you? Should I stop calling you that?
Why?
Oh, because you changed your name, and I just want to be respectful.
No, you're perfectly respectful. I think the only reason I changed it was because, like, I guess things haven't really gotten better, but when Elon Musk did what he did on the stage,
Yeah.
I was like, well, fuck. I mean, it's over. Like, I gotta really buckle down the hatches. So,
Yeah.
anywho,
Well,
how y'all doing?
I just want to be respectful. Doing good. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
You can answer a question for me. We are in Exodus 32. This is where the golden calf appears.
Nice.
And I have heard, and I cannot remember who from, that I don't know if it's scholars or if there was midrash, but there was some talk that the golden calf wasn't actually supposed to be a different God. It was like, give us something that we can worship Yahweh, because Moses, our mouthpiece, the one who we usually talk to, you know, to get to this God, isn't here, and we want something to worship.
Well, it says so much in the text. It says that Moses was gone, and they said, they went to Aaron and said, Moses has been gone so long. Like, what gives? Like, who knows if he's ever coming back? Like, give us something we can work with. My favorite part is when Aaron lies to Moses and says, "It just jumped out of the fire. I don't know what you want me to do about it."
We haven't even got there yet, but that is a good part. So because when you're growing up Christian, I just so you know, I like to tell you what we thought when we were Christians. I know you find it fascinating. What we're
Always.
taught when we're Christians is that this is a totally different God. Like they wanted Aaron to make for them a whole new God, and it's not like a representation of Yahweh. It's literally like a different God. And
I think that's accurate. I think that would be accurate.
okay, because
Yeah.
I've heard it told both ways now, and I'm like, because if it's a totally different God, Aaron is the least loyal prophet ever. Like he's like, all right, come on, give me some stuff. I'll make you something. I can whip
So
you a little something up.
what the Midrash does say is that, like, to kind of like explain away Aaron's um, you know behavior or whatever, is that he was just trying to buy time. Like he's like, come back in 3 days. You're gonna have a festival for 3 days. Like, get it out of your system, sort of thing. Buying time until Moses can come back.
Okay, that makes a little more sense because he just seemed just so weak. Like, all right, I'll do that for you. Let's go. Let's see what I can do.
Aaron
All right.
prefers the false piece.
Okay, now we just finished reading about when Moses gets mad, throws down the temple, grinds up the golden calf, and then makes them drink it. Any information you want to give us about that part of the story?
Yes, it parallels the Sota ritual, which many who are AB advocates, or at least pro-choice advocates, will point to as evidence of like that there is access, at least. Obviously, it's not a great text, but I think, like from the Jewish perspective, we understand that abortion is healthcare, and that I think so. Anyway, all to say that this parallels the Sota ritual.
What's the Sota ritual?
Where if a woman is accused of adultery, the husband can take her to drink this ash mixture that will abort the
bitter water
the bitter waters,
story
exactly.
in the Bible.
Mhm,
Okay,
yeah.
the bitter waters. Okay. And
In other words, the people are committing adultery by praying to this other god, and so it parallels the story. Yeah, adultery and idolatry are synonymous in the Bible, pretty much.
that's why they sound alike too. No, I'm just kidding. No. Oh, that makes sense. I'm so glad I asked you about that. I'm really glad. By the way, I was saying earlier that this is one of Joel Reed's Bible's favorite parts of the Bible where Moses makes them drink that. he thinks that's funny, but he might not know about the Sota ritual. So
I'm sure that everybody saw that thing with Deathless, right?
no.
Where he made the diagram for him, and it looked like some man.
Oh, you mean when Mezzo does that?
Well, he did it to Deathless, and Deathless is like a really self-assured guy. He has a very distinct voice, but you have.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Thank
Yes.
you. Have you seen that clip?
Yes.
And maybe
I love that.
maybe the most incredibly humorous thing that Mezzo's ever done, and the bar is pretty high.
Mezzo's is hilarious. Okay, let's see. Where did I leave off? So he made them drink it. Okay, we're in verse 21 of chapter 32 of Exodus. If you're just joining us right now. By the way, really quick commercial for myself. I need to get to 10,000 likes as quickly as possible, please. Also, I have a gift goal. It's the little awesome kitties. They're only 1 coin each. Love to get to 666 by the end of the Bible study. When you guys send me gifts and stuff, it just helps it so that I can get things for me to be able to stream, be able to upgrade things like I really eventually need a computer so I can quit screwing up YouTube, and it will get streamed out to YouTube as quickly as possible. So that's what I do. I just save up those little gifts. I also gift out a lot of them back to the other streamers in the community. But the big way you can help me is by subscribing to my channel. I bring you non-believers Bible study, conversations with Christians, and Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. So I bring you a lot of great entertainment. Think of subscribing today. It's less than a cup of coffee a month, and you're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, and Cornhub, and corn is free on the internet. So cancel some of those subscriptions today, and then come subscribe to me, even though I can't say the word subscribe. Just do it anyway. Also, support my amazing panel. This is a killer panel up. I'm sorry, unaliving panel up here right now. Okay, we have the Rabbi, we have Dagda, we have Forrest, we have Deborah, the author of Crucifying the Bible, and we have AK. So yeah, make sure you send them a lot of love too. Okay, moving right along. Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought so great a sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my Lord burn hot. You know the people, that they are bent on evil. They said to me, 'Make us gods. Who shall go before us?' As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt," I'm sorry, I can't talk, "we do not know what has become of him. So I said to them, 'Whoever has gold, take it off.' So they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf." That's such a great story. That is such a little boy story.
It wasn't me, I swear.
I swear, Mom, I didn't do it. What are you talking about? Okay.
So I just want to say
questions or
really quick,
commentary?
yeah, only that like Aaron is like the rabbis will say that the value of Aaron is that he pursues peace in all ways. And I think that there is something to be said for that, but I also think like, things that we are dealing with in modern times, and I think Dr. King commented on it, that a false peace is not actually a peace at all. And so if there is a pursuit of peace that is just to kind of tamp things down instead of actually dealing with the things. And I'm not saying that this is a moment of injustice by any means, but like if the pursuit of peace is primary, and rejects anything else, then it's not actually the pursuit of peace. That's all I wanted to say.
That's true. That's true. Yes, I will read that again. Okay, Brock, here we go. Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought so great a sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my Lord burn hot. You know the people, that they are bent on evil. They said to me, 'Make us gods. Who shall go before us?' As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. So I said to them, 'Whoever has gold, take it off.' So they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf." All right. Moving on. When Moses saw that the people were running wild, for Aaron had let them run wild to the derision of their enemies. I don't know why I couldn't read that word for a minute. For Aaron had let them run wild to the derision of their enemies. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on the Lord's side? Come to me." And all the sons of Levi gathered around him. He said to them, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, put your sword on your side, each of you. Go back and forth from gate to gate throughout the camp, and each of you kill your brother, your friend, and your neighbor." The sons of Levi did as Moses commanded, and about 3,000 of the people fell on that day. Moses said, "Today you have ordained yourselves for the service of the Lord, each one at the cost of a son or a brother, and so have brought a blessing on yourselves this day." That's horrible.
Why did this happen?
Because Moses convinced God not to do it, so then Moses did it himself. Moses is like,
Sounds like a dick. Sorry. I'm sorry.
well, if you put yourself in their shoes, like Moses is like making an example out of those people. right? Like saying, like, look, I saved your asses from this. You know, I'm not trying to justify. I'm just saying that that's what I think what Moses' mentality is. Like he's saying, like, you do this, this happens for worse, not for better. I was going to say for better or for worse, but it's just for worse.
How many innocent people were unalive that day?
3,000.
3,000. That, I don't know. I really hate Bible stories like that. So, why? If God didn't do it, why did you have to do it? Obviously, if your God was like, fine, I don't have to do it, then what was the point of even asking him not to do it if you're going to do it? Like, it's such a stupid, pointless story that does not teach us anything morally.
I think it's actually a little bit of a trolley problem, in the sense that it's either 3,000 or everybody.
But it didn't have to be anybody.
Agreed.
If you're a God that doesn't actually get angry because you're supposedly this God that doesn't get angry, but you get angry all the time. But I'm supposed to believe that you're never angry.
And also, didn't Moses just say, like, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, like God of mercy? Isn't that just a couple paragraphs ago?
Yep. All right. I don't know. This Yahweh character. I don't know about him. Okay. Verse 30. On the next day, Moses said to the people, you know, it's kind of funny. Wait, I have to say something. There was a day that I would never have said such a sentence in my life because I would think that God could just unalive me immediately for saying such a thing. And now I picture him so weak and tiny below me that he's nothing. You know what I mean?
Did you just say below me? Just kidding.
Rabbi, this is a Bible study.
The look on your face. Well played, good sir. Well played, good sir.
Okay. On the next day, Moses said to the people, you have sinned a great sin, but now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin. So Moses returned to the Lord and said, alas, this people has sinned a great sin. They have made for themselves gods of gold. But now if you will only forgive their sin, but if not, blot me out of the book that you have written. But the Lord said to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. But now go lead the people to the place about which I have spoken to you. See, my angel shall go in front of you. Nevertheless, when the day comes for punishment, I will punish them for their sin. Then the Lord sent a plague to the people because they made the calf, the one that Aaron made. So then God still sends a plague to them. I don't like this story. And also, I have a question. So you, as Jewish people, you don't look at sin the way Christians do. And there's not like the heaven and the hell that Christians think. Am I correct in saying that? Rabbi, if you're there.
Would you mind jumping me down, Miss Crystal?
Not at all. Forrest, thank you for coming up and come join me anytime, okay? You guys, make sure you're following Forrest. Also, when he debates, make sure you watch the debate. He's so good. He's often on Fluff Skidoo's live on the panel too, so make sure you go check out Fluff Skidoo.
I don't want to try to like take over, but I just have to say, Deborah and I had one of the funniest lives I've ever had in my entire life, and she posted a couple of clips on her page, and you guys need to go watch them.
Oh, okay, I will. I definitely will.
So funny. You have to watch them to the end because it's wild.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Okay, well, Rabbi, if you hear me, when you come back, interrupt me because I want to know about that. Oh, okay.
Okay, what was the question?
The
Sorry, I
question
just did a ceremony for indigent souls and in my community. we just buried 500 people. And so I'm like, wait, but the
Oh.
problem is now we're leaving, and like people aren't leaving, and so everybody's blocked in. So I had to go speak to the people to like move their cars. Anyway, how y'all doing?
Oh, okay. Hey,
How are
well,
you?
I appreciate you being here. So, you, am I correct in saying or thinking that Jewish people do not think about sin the way Christians do, and that they do not think of heaven and hell the way Christians do?
That is accurate.
Okay, so when God says in Exodus 32, verses 32, I'm going to read, and says, "But now if you will only forgive their sin, but if not, blot me out of the book that you have written. But the Lord said to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. But now go lead the people to the place about which I have spoken to you." Anyway, in a Christian's point of view, if you are blotted out of the book, that's the book of life. That means you're going to hell. What do Jewish people believe about this verse?
The word blotting out, or the idea of blotting out, is more that they will not be remembered. And so the idea is that memory is, I think, at the core of what it means to have an afterlife, like to be remembered. And so if you're blotting out the name of somebody, the idea is that they will not, that they will be eliminated from memory, that sort of thing.
And
I
so
don't know if
it's
that
like
helps you at all.
so the book that they're speaking of would kind of be like God's book or his memory of them, not
Well, the
like the
book
book
is
of
the book
life.
of life. Yeah, the book of life. Yeah, I mean that's. But I think you'd have to. I mean, if you're interested, it would be the Jewish perspective is explained in Talmud Rosh Hashanah, and that there's yeah, it's
Okay,
like
cool.
yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm happy to speak on the Jewish perspective. It's not necessarily what I believe personally,
I'd
but
love to hear about, because the Christian perspective is that the book of life just simply means who's getting into heaven.
oh yeah, I would say the book of life is more um, like who will be remembered. Like literally, Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaZikaron, the day of remembrance, and so it's the day in which God, you know, writes your name into the book of life, and it's like the day that you are going to be remembered. Um, I don't know if
No, that's good. But now
yeah.
people in chat want to know, why does God need a book? That's their question.
Well, I think you have to ask, like, actually, the etymology of book in Hebrew does actually help with this. So, what is the original need to write something down? It's for accounting, and you write something down to keep track of it. How many soldiers? How much bread? How much how many mouths to feed? So on, a census, right? And so in Hebrew, the word book is a sefer, but the word for a number is a mispar. They have.
Oh, you cut out. You have red bar, so hang on. Hopefully, you can hear me, because we can't hear you right now. So a sefer and a mispar, those are the same word but backwards. Is there a word for that? Is that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So it's sefer and
Can you
mispar,
hear me
and you
now?
said, yeah, I can hear you. So we lost you after you said sefer
Yeah.
and mispar.
Yeah, that
Oh,
they're
he
the
has bars
same.
again.
They have the same root, and so the idea is that like, ah, fuck. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get to a better place. Okay, great. So the idea is that a number and a book, like you record the numbers into the book, and so like it's an accounting. The idea is that writing primarily, or in the at the outset of needing to write something, is to account for something, and so consider it almost like a census, the book of life.
So okay, let me ask you if this kind of makes sense. So sometimes I keep a record of something, not because I'm afraid I'll forget it, but it's so if somebody asks me, I can show them my receipts. Is it more like that with God? He's not going to forget. He's taking this accounting to have record to show others.
It's a more apt analogy than I think you might even realize, because the accounting itself is the cheshbon, which is like literally you say accounting, but that's how you say receipt in modern Hebrew also.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot more sense to me. Thank you. I'm really glad I asked about that too. All right, so on to chapter. Oh, was there anything else? AK, I know Deborah can't really talk, but if you did have questions, you guys know
I'm on
to
lunch
chime
now.
in. Okay.
Did
If
I
you
miss
have
something about
anything to say
omniscience?
too. I don't think so.
Mateo said that the point is about omniscience, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
Okay.
Rabbi.
Hey,
We got two
Rabbi.
rabbis. We have an echo now.
Hey, Rabbi Hannah, if you have anything to add, just chime in, okay?
Oh, thank you.
All right. Chapter 33, the command to leave Sinai. The Lord said to Moses, go leave this place, you and the people whom you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, and go to the land of which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying to your descendants, I will give it. I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go up among you, or I would consume you on the way, for you are a stiff-necked people. So one question we did have was, this is the second time we've heard God say today that these were a stiff-necked people. Why that wording?
Mostly because we're stubborn bastards. That's really it. The stiff neck is kind of an attribution to, bowing. When you're bowing your neck. So the idea of stiff neck is we're stubborn. We refuse to just like do what we're told. We kind of have to stumble around and figure it out on our own. Like we can't be taught. We have to make the mistakes, and in making those mistakes, we kind of have to learn from our own like F-ups to understand what was being told to us in the first place.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Rabbi. Just, I don't know if anybody else is also.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, you are a little quiet.
Hold on. I think it's because how's that? Is that better?
That's much better. Much better.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
had the wrong one in. Yeah, so that's really it, is that stiff neck is, you have to picture when you're bowing to some sort of royalty, you're bowing your neck, and being stiff necked is literally the stubbornness of not recognizing somebody might know more than you do.
Okay, I gotcha. But again, here we go, and this God is disappointing me with all this G side. He's going to get rid of all the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites. I'm sure some exist and they had to run off or whatever, but I don't know. He makes me sad. When the people heard these harsh words, they mourned, and no one put on ornaments. For the Lord had said to Moses, say to the Israelites, you are a stiff-necked people. If for a single moment I should go up among you, I would consume you. So now take off your ornaments, and I will decide what to do to you. Therefore the Israelites stripped themselves of their ornaments from Mount Horeb onward. Okay, any commentary or questions on that paragraph? You guys, sometimes I listen to this back 2 times speed to make little shorts for YouTube. And when we are all talking, especially me, I'm not going to lie, we're talking at 2 times speed, it's starting to sound normal to me. And listening to myself talk at this slow, the pace gets to me sometimes. I'm like, talk faster. Okay. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp. I don't know why I can't read. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp. Far off from the camp, he called it the tent of meeting, and everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise and stand, each of them at the entrance of their tents, and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent, and the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance of the tent, all the people would rise and bow down, all of them at the entrance of their tent. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as one speaks to a friend. Then he would return to the camp, but his young assistant Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent. Okay, I was just picturing like what sometimes when I read the supernatural things that happen in the Old Testament, I try to picture what was the natural thing that was really occurring, that people, like when God appeared as smoke at the top of the mountain. That sounds like a volcano to me, you know. But anyway, so I try to picture what was it really going on. I couldn't picture something here. What cloud would be following a human being, and except Pigpen from Charlie Brown. So now I picture Moses as Pigpen going back and forth from the tent with this little cloud of dirt around him.
I thought that, like, and I pointed this out, but just kind of rhetorically, I thought no one could see the face of God and live. And it just said that he spoke to God face to face, like a friend speaks to a brother.
Yes. So there are places, of course, that you read that, like, Moses was shown God's ass because, you know, you can't see the entire glory of God without your face melting off, etc. So there are, each book, of course, was not written. I'm trying to find out the way to say this. So we see other accounts of an anthropomorphized human deity within the text. Abraham speaks directly to God because he's like shown as being human-like. So when it says the face of God cannot be seen, we are moving into a time where, like, this is not necessarily the same God that was being referenced earlier. You know, it's an L versus the Yud He Vav He.
If I remember correctly, though, both of those sentences are in the same chapter.
Yep. And that has a lot to do with the... Oh, please, go ahead,
Exactly.
Rabbi.
Well, just to say that, you know, if you're redacting it, if you're the final person to redact it, you can put anything where you want it.
Well,
Yeah, that's exactly
true.
what I was going to say too, Bert, was it has a lot to do with the redactors.
Yeah, and I also know that, you know, you don't have chapter and verse indicators in the original text anyway.
Or vowels.
Touche.
Also, just to say that there are idioms also, like that, you know, if you're if the goal is to express the intimate way that Moses related to, that Moses related to God. I mean, I think there's ways to understand it that are less, that are more like poetic, I guess. But I understand that is apologetic.
I wasn't going to call you Darth Dawkins or anything, but his favorite word is idiom. I was just saying. Wait, don't leave. I'm just teasing.
What if instead of idiom you said, like, there are some...
Yes, no, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I got a notification.
It's probably better that you didn't, Bert.
Yeah. Do you want me to repeat myself, Bert? I wasn't going to call you Darth Dawkins or anything, but his favorite word is idiom.
I've never even dealt with this guy.
Man.
Ever. Not even one time.
Oh, he's a fucking
Did you hear
gem.
me flip out at him?
He's a gem.
Did you hear me flip out at him
No,
this morning?
I saw you sent the invite, or, you know, the thing. And so I went in and you had already been gone, but I listened into him for about, you know, like a minute, maybe tops. And he was just like raging at the chat going, oh, a bunch of high school, idiots in here. See, they have no idea what they're talking about. They do not know what the Bible says, And I was like, oh my goodness, whatever. So
I
you
would
went
say
off on Dart.
I would
Oh
say if
yeah.
we don't want to use the word idiom, then it is just poetic language to try and describe intimacy, the intimate relationship that is bestowed upon Moses versus relationships that other people have in reference to their relationship with this deity. I mean,
The other,
if we
sorry.
look into Job, we see a lot, Job itself is poetic. It's literally a
Yeah.
poem that is broken up into three, these three sections of that kind of poetry we see written at the time. So I know it's sometimes hard, like when you're reading through the book, and I don't mean you guys, I mean just in general, the ubiquitous
Yeah.
you, because we see these spaces where it says, hey, Abraham talked to Moses directly, and then suddenly Moses only gets to see the back of his ass. But then later on, we see Moses being able to talk to him face to face as long as they're in the tent of meeting. And, if you're reading it Peshat, you're reading it on its face, of course you're like, that is confusing. And again,
Yeah.
academically, the redactors just went and we were like, well, that looks good there. And, who knows what they flipped a coin, spun around 3 times, we don't know. Um,
More
No,
macaroni
I
pictures.
think that as
macaroni pictures.
ex-Christians, we just, like point it out because we are told so many times. Like, if you talk to a Christian and you're like, have you ever talked to God? Like, have you ever seen him or anything? They'll be like, no, nobody can talk to God. And we're like, but it says they
Yeah.
did.
I also
I think
wanted
it's
to
just,
So,
offer.
oh,
Sorry.
please go ahead, Bert.
Well, just to say that I wanted to offer that the tabernacle, like the mobile desert temple, um, is is an analog for Mount Sinai. So essentially, it is the mountain tipped on its side, right? When you have all the people gathering around the base of the mountain, now you have all the people gathering around the base of the entrance of the tent of meeting. You have Moses
oh,
walking up with the priests to the entrance and into the entrance. You have Moses, Aaron, his sons, the elders, walking up to the first steps of the mountain. Then you have, going into the inner, the holy of holies thing. Then you have those pieces as well, and so like all of that lines up with as an analog. So, and this is also like the case that the architecture of synagogues today is also Mount Sinai flipped on its side.
all right. I
And
Yeah.
like that.
if you really want to blow your hair back, there are some Jewish teachings. One of my colleagues talks about it a lot. That suggests that when Moses is going into the Holy of Holies and into the tent of meeting to talk to God, that it's actually the Shekinah he's talking to, because she dwells
What
among us.
what's
Then
Shekinah?
the feminine aspect of God.
Oh,
That it's actually the Shekinah, because the Shekinah lives with us, according to Jewish tradition. The Shekinah lives with us in exile and acts as a bridge between us and God. Like, she eventually will go back to be with Hashem once we are no longer in exile. So there are some Jewish traditions that would state that it's actually not Hashem, but the Shekinah who you're communing with, because she acts as the bridge between you and God.
okay. So I don't know what this means because Methodists don't believe in it. But in the Christian religion, especially I want to say in the Pentecostal denomination, there is something called the Shekinah glory. Does anybody in
Oh
chat or on
God,
panel know what that is?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, yeah, I know. I grew up around. Like I was the only Jewish kid around in my city. I say city, but it was a town. And so yeah, Pentecostals love to use Shekinah glory because they believe that it's like the crowning glory of God, and they don't realize that what they're saying is, and I say this more funny than anything else, is what they're suggesting is that there is a feminine aspect of sitting on God's face all the time. And so, like, I'm just like,
I love that.
I don't think you know what that means. Like, what you're suggesting is, I mean, sure, like, there is, if you want to get esoteric with it, there are some traditions that state that, God banged it out in order to create the world. Like, cool. Didn't know that hit
That's
mainstream
hilarious.
Christianity yet, but all right, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
this is why I love asking you guys these questions.
and I think both Bert and I come from it from, of course, also different perspectives, because, in my own teaching and my own learning journey, I've had the opportunity to learn, or at the dust of many teachers' feet, including a dear friend of mine. My mom and I say my mom because my mom's a retired cantor, and that's how I met this rabbi, was through my mother, is Rabbi Jill Hammer. And so this is where I started really understanding Jill's perspective on the idea of the Shekinah being in the tent of meeting, being in the Holy of Holies, because of being the bridge between us. And that, like I mentioned earlier, that she resides in exile with us until we're called, which is what we're inviting to our Shabbat tables when we start to light the candles. We're inviting the Sabbath Queen, the Shekinah, to fill our homes with her presence.
You just said forever change Shekinah glory for me, and I love that.
I mean, like them
Hi,
do.
Jeff. If you want to come up, come on up.
I'm here for it. Like if that's what Pentecostals think, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know if you know what you're saying right now, but you're implying this, and good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's
Earth
actually
Sanctuary, thanks for stopping by. I hope everything's okay with your mom. Um,
I just
love
wanted to
you.
say that that's my interpretation, by the way, of the opening verse of the entire Bible, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, that it's a chapter list. So Bereshit is the book of Bereshit, is the beginnings of things. Bara is creation, in other words, the creation of the people, Israel, right? It's the book of Exodus. Then Elohim is God as judge. The book of Leviticus is all about the law and judgment. And then Hashamayim literally means heaven, and it's Shekhinah is the dwelling of God on earth, is heaven on earth. And then Haaretz is the desire to go into the land. The book of Deuteronomy is all about going into the land.
Oh yeah, we get really esoteric as Jews. Like we get out there. When people will say, I read this, and I'm like, yeah, but did you read it pshat? Did you just read it on its face, or have you like gone in and like really gotten this the mystic understanding of these words? Like that's where gematria comes in, and my mother, like I could ask her, hey, what is the meaning of this word? She goes, well, which do you want? Do you want the gematria? Because the gematria would be like this, and it's because it's this number, and if you add that up, it becomes this. Which is why, just plainly, a lot of Jews, when they donate money, will do so in 18 increments, because the 1/8 is high, the word high, which is life. And so they will donate in increments of $18, because they're donating in the increment of life. My mom is,
That's
she,
cool.
like I often say, like I'm a Torah scholar, but my mom makes me look like a monkey fucking a football. Like she
But
can't
I mean,
remember what she did yesterday. But if I
but
went
for
in there and said, "What is the where could I find?" and I just pop anything off, she will literally be, "That's Exodus 32:3." And by the way, you can cross-reference that, because Josephus talks about this in his third book, and if you go to this part, it'll say that. And by the way, the gematria on that is, and I'm just like, okay, mom, thanks.
That's cool. Deborah, were you gonna say something?
I was going to say 18, 1 and 8 is 9. 9 is wishes fulfilled in tarot. So, no, I'm just. we've got Torah and tarot.
Yes.
You know how often I
Yes.
mix that up after coming out of religion?
Okay, moving on. Chapter 33, verse 12. Moses said to the Lord, see, you have said to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Now, if I have found favor in your sight, show me your ways so that I may know you and find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people. He said, my presence will go with you and I will give you rest. And he said to him, if your presence will not go, do not carry us up from here. For how shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people, unless you go with us? In this way we shall be distinct, I and your people, from every people on the face of the earth. All right, any questions or commentaries on 12 through 16? I do like that, like, they just, I didn't notice it here. I noticed it earlier. How many times they're saying in these chapters, the one who brought you out of Egypt. It just reminds me of such a guilt trip. My kids would say that, like, I would do it on purpose. I would do it very, like, so they would know, no, I was joking, but I would be like, remember me? I'm the one who gave birth to you. It just reminds me of somebody trying to really guilt trip somebody.
I never went for that. My mom tried that with me once. She's like, I brought you into this life. And I'm like, yeah, and I didn't ask for it, so don't try with me.
Right. Exactly. I actually said that to my dad too one time, though. Because I was adopted, and he said something to me, and I was like, I didn't ask for you to take me in.
So I'm going to be here listening, but I have to drive. So I'm going to mute myself so that way, nobody gets in trouble.
All right. Sounds good. All right. The Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing that you have asked for. You have found favor in my sight. Oh, I know. I wanted to point something out back on this. Let me see. It says in verse 12, it says, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Christians who always say, oh, it's so important to take things in context and stuff, are the same Christians who would take that verse and apply it to themselves, even though it was God talking to Moses. 100% all day long. They would get that tattooed on them. Okay, anyway. The Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing that you have asked, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name. Moses said, show me your glory, I pray. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim before you the name of the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. But he said, you cannot see my face, for no one shall see me and live. And the Lord continued, see, there is a place by me where you shall stand on the rock. And while my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. So here's the verses you guys were talking about, Deborah and Rabbi, where it says you can't see his face, and then he sees God's.
He was a buttlicker.
Also,
oh my goodness.
The cross reference here is Elijah on the mountain. When Elijah is on the mountain convening with God, also, and that there's a still small voice. It's the same scene, same thing.
Oh. This, by the way, is also, let's see. Oh my goodness, I will be gracious to you. Oh. I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. If you're listening out here, this is a very, very good verse to show that the Bible does not have free will, okay? Because he's telling you right here, there's nothing you can do. I'm going to be gracious to who I want to, and I'm going to not. Show mercy to people I don't want to show mercy to. So there you go. I'm going to highlight that. It's funny how my highlighting has changed over the years. I used to highlight things that I thought were pretty and made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Now I highlight things to be like, here's another stupid thing in the Bible. All right, we're going to go through 34, I think, and then we're going to stop for the day. Before we start 34, I'm going to do a quick commercial break. You guys, I have been live for an hour and a half now, and I am sitting at only 14,000 likes. There's 37 of you in here. Let's get those likes up to 25,000 in the next 20 minutes if we could. I'd really appreciate that. And please don't forget, I have a gift goal. They're 1 coin each. It's a little awesome kitty. I'm going to pin it because I guess some people don't have it, but when I pin it, they get, oh, I did the subscriptions and stuff. Can I do the kitty? I want to do the kitty. Yeah, let's pin that. And then, of course, I have a subscription goal. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe today. Because I bring you great Bible studies every Wednesday at 11 a.m. We're going through the Bible chapter by chapter. And then I also have Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. By the way, Deborah's going to be on my show soon. I've already had Rabbi Hannah, and I'm sure Bert and I did a show before I ever did Decon Q&A. He was one of my first interviews for just, Deborah was an interview I did for her book, and Jerry and I did for his book, but Rabbi Bert was my first just sit-down interview. So if you like Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, think of supporting my channel by subscribing today. Okay? All right. On to chapter 34. The Lord said to Moses, cut 2 tablets of stone like the former ones, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the former tablets, which you broke. Be ready in the morning and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. No one shall come up with you, and do not let anyone be seen throughout all the mountain, and do not let flocks or herds graze in front of that mountain. So Moses cut 2 tablets of stone like the former ones, and he rose early in the morning and went up on Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him. And he took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. The Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name, the Lord. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed. Before I continue, so were the first 2 tablets the ones with the original 10 commandments? Am I right?
Well, presumably the entire Torah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
I think this notion of you're about to get the 10 Commandments right now, right?
Right, but these are the real ones, right?
Yeah. Well, so like the idea is like, okay, I'm going to give you the whole Torah right off the bat, and then
Okay, wait.
and then
So these are going to be the first 10 commandments for Christians, and then a second 10 commandments comes later. I'm trying to figure out the Christian 10 commandments is what I'm trying to do.
Well, I think Christians are very confused about what the 10 Commandments are to begin with. So first of all, like we're probably up to a couple hundred commandments at this point in the Torah. So like, as far as like the 10 Commandments go, these are, you know, they're a dime a dozen or a dime a deca, you know.
Right.
Anyway, what was your original question? I had a thing that I wanted.
I was asking if the first tablets that he broke were the ones with the original 10 commandments, and you said it's really like the whole Torah.
The whole Torah, exactly. And so the idea is like, first, there's a midrash that basically says that. Well, first of all, when we say the tree of life, we're saying that the tree of life is the Torah. So when you look at Proverbs 8, it says, it's a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. And so then the cross-reference is back to the first few chapters of Genesis in the Garden of Eden, and that the tree of life was in the Garden of Eden, that they weren't ready to eat from the tree of life. They weren't ready to be with the Torah. They weren't ready to receive the Torah yet. And then at Mount Sinai, they get the Torah, and they're still not ready because they are, like, as the text says, a stiff-necked people, right? And now they're going to give, like, a little taste. We're going to get a little taste, like a little sort of like how you, like, take a little bit of poison, you know, just to get used to the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love for the 1,000th generation, forgiving iniquity and transgressions and sin, yet by no means clearing the guilty by visiting the iniquity of the parents upon the children and the children children's children to the third and fourth generation. And Moses quickly bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. He said, if now I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, I pray, let the Lord go with us. Although this is a stiff-necked people, pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. One of the things that when I think about these verses is how it says, forgiving iniquity and transgressions and sins. He says, keep steadfast love for the thousandth generation, but I also will punish to the third and fourth generation. What happens when generations overlap? Like, if I was part of the thousandth generation and then I did something wrong, you have to be steadfast in your love for me. You can't also then punish my third and fourth generations. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to anybody? Okay, I'll take your silence to mean no. That did not make sense to any of you. All right. Anyway, that's just what I think of. Like, you can't, sometimes generations overlap. Okay. All right, the covenant renewed. Verse 10 in chapter 34. He said, I hereby make a covenant before all your people. I will perform marvels such as have not been performed in all the earth or in any nation, and all the people among whom you live shall see the work of the Lord, for it is an awesome thing that I will do with you. How come he stopped?
Hello.
Hey, DJ. Can I get your age real quick?
Yes, I'm 52 from Washington State.
Nice to meet you. Did you have a question?
I do sort of have a question. Are you which Bible are you reading, the Old or the King James version?
I'm reading the NRSV.
Okay. Is that almost the same as the King James version? Almost, kind
No,
of, because.
No, the NRSV is. I don't have the updated edition, which is even more closely to the
Okay.
to the to the text. So, but the King James version is not a good translation, so we don't.
Okay. Is there anything in there the story of King David and Jonathan?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And can you kind of talk
Oh
about
no, we're actually going through the Bible right now, chapter by chapter, and we're in 34,
Okay.
and we're about to finish up today's Bible study. So we're
Okay.
not jumping around.
All right. No.
Okay.
Well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. Have a good day. Okay. The covenant renew. He said, I hereby make a covenant before all your people. I already read that. I'm sorry. Verse 11. Observe what I command you today. See, I will drive out before you the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Pezerites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Take care not to make covenant with the inhabitants of the land to which you are going, or it will become a snare among you. You shall tear down their altars, break their pillars, and cut down their sacred poles, for you shall worship to no other God, because the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. You shall not make a covenant with inhabitants of the land, for when they prostitute themselves to their gods and sacrifice to their gods, someone among them will invite you, and you will eat of the sacrifice. And you will take wives from among their daughters for your sons, and their daughters who prostitute themselves to their gods will make your sons prostitute to themselves to their gods. Also prostitute themselves to their gods. Did you have something you wanted to add, Bert, or did you accidentally unmute? I'm going to mute you, because I don't think you know you're unmuted. Okay. Yeah, he was getting some cookies. I want cookies now. Here's the thing about this. Like, this makes me sad because Christians use these verses to go in to other countries and destroy everything they wiped him out. Like, so much history and art and culture erased because of these verses. Any comments, questions, or anything on those verses?
When I was in my
Oh, that-
degree program, one of the required courses was a class called Natives of Alaska, and it was required for the bachelor's degree. And I tell you what, that class was the most humbling experience that I've ever had, because, you know, being raised in non-denominational, you're like, oh, I don't see color, we're not racist, we don't have any biases. And then I took that class and I had a lot of apologizing to do. A lot of apologizing. And I feel like those kinds of classes should be required across the entire country, as instead of just kind of briskly kind of going over it in the text, like in the textbooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deborah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that it reminds me of Ezekiel 16, where he calls his people whores.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's everywhere.
Well, true, but that specific chapter is it feels a little extreme.
And well, Ezekiel 23, if you really want to go extreme, that's like the extreme whoring chapter, where the daughters of, they're called I can't remember what the daughters' names are, but it's supposed to be Judea and Israel, like the north and south, with the two kingdoms, and they're like, I mean, it's honestly, it reminds me of the song "Dynamo Hum" by Frank Zappa.
I don't know that song.
That's probably for the best.
Okay. All right. You shall not make cast idols. You shall keep the festival of unleavened bread 7 days. You shall eat unleavened bread as I commanded you at the time appointed in the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib you came out from Egypt. All that first opens the womb is mine. All your male livestock, the firstborn of cow and sheep, the firstborn of a donkey, you shall redeem with a lamb. Or if you will not redeem it, you shall break its neck. All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem. Now, I know a lot of times in debate lives, atheists like to bring up the firstborn here to say, see, God is asking for sacrifice of your firstborns here. But the fact that he actually says you shall redeem means he's not asking for them to be sacrificed. Am I right?
It's
Bert?
a financial thing. It's called Pidyon Haben, redemption of the first son. And the idea is that you make a donation on behalf of your son to say, look, I think, it is in the vein of child sacrifice, but it is to replace that, because obviously child sacrifice should not take place. But also, the reason the child sacrifice took place was because there's a connection. I'm going to have a hard time explaining this, but basically, when you're watching children starve, the question is, do you just let them starve, or do you put them out of their misery? And I think to have the unfortunate decision to make there is excruciating, and it may appear as if it is a sacrifice when in reality it's an act of mercy. And I don't think that any of us can even begin to fathom what it would be like to be in a situation like that. And I'm not trying to justify it, but I am trying to say that a little sympathy goes a long way, and that I think the kind of rejection of this practice is by saying, look, we understand that like, you're not going to be able to control the weather. You're not going to be able to control how much crops you have. Clearly, famine is a huge issue in the Bible. And by the way, whenever there's a famine in the land, it ends with babies. And so I think that there is a clear understanding of a connection between starvation and progeny and children. And so by donating this small amount to the temple, you are saying, look, I understand where this practice comes from, and I understand that as a collective, we all benefit from making these donations. Oh, shit.
It's my stupid
Okay. Can you hear me now? I don't want to. Can you hear me, Crystal?
I can hear
I can
you.
hear you now.
I can hear him.
It was my iPad took over my Bluetooth.
Headphones.
Yeah.
So by making this donation, you are acknowledging that while you can't control the weather, you can contribute to a fund essentially that will help to, govern or distribute the wealth. And by the way, the statement about the breaking of the donkey's neck is to say, if you don't do this, you will not have, like, your donkey is your tractor, it is your Porsche, it is your it's your everything. It's your utility vehicle. And so if you don't do this, you might as well break your donkey's neck, is what it's saying.
Did you ever see the final episode of MASH?
No. I've only seen a few episodes, actually.
The final episode is one of the most heart-wrenching episodes ever. It makes it very clear in the very end that even though the show was lighthearted many times, that they were absolutely against war. And that was always the message, And in one of the scenes, I don't remember why, but Alan Alda's character Hawkeye has to get on, hide with a bunch of people from the enemy. And they're hiding, and one woman is with her baby, and the baby is crying. And she keeps telling that baby, shh, but the baby won't stop. So she smothers the baby. And in it, of course, everybody's lives were saved, but the cost was her baby. And when I think of stories like this, about what you're talking about during the famines and stuff, I think of that because I can't imagine having to make those decisions, but I certainly can't judge anybody who does. Yeah, it's a heart-wrenching episode. If you ever get a chance to watch it, I do recommend it, but it is heart-wrenching. 6 days you shall work, but on the seventh day you shall rest. Oh wait, I don't know if I said no one shall. Okay, no one shall appear before me empty-handed. I don't know if I read that. 6 days you shall work, but on the seventh day you shall rest. Even in plowing time and in harvest time you shall rest. You shall observe the festival of weeks, the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the festival of ingathering at the turn of the year. 3 times in the year all your meals shall appear before the Lord God, the God of Israel. For I will cast out nations before you and enlarge your borders. No one shall covet your land when you go up to appear before the Lord your God 3 times in the year.
By the way, this is the Torah portion reading for the festivals, which are Sukkot, or the festival of booths that you said, Pesach, which is Passover, the Paschal Lamb, the Exodus, and then we just celebrated on Sunday. Well, Sunday night, Tuesday, and Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday, Shavuot, which is the third pilgrimage festival, which you just said, the first fruits, which is also the celebration of receiving the Torah.
So it's always weird to me, and always has been, that Christians don't know anything about this and don't worship it, but they supposedly are worshiping this same God, but through Jesus. And he never says he's doing away with festivals or anything like that. So why he did, I don't know.
Well, they say that Jesus is the first fruit, so.
First what? Gotcha. Oh, first fruit?
The first fruit.
God almighty.
Did you not know that?
No, it's so, like, how can you be, like, look, even a broken clock is right twice a day, and it's almost like when Christianity is about to get it right, they move the clock hand just to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And this verse is a good verse that I like to go to. Like, Thinker will talk a lot about how Jesus really actually weakened the power of Yahweh when he came, because suddenly there were no more miracles. Yeah, Jesus did some, okay? I'm talking about like God appearing and doing miracles. And Jesus would say things like, store up all your treasures for heaven, like suffer here. You're going to suffer. Things is going to be shitty, but don't worry. We got you in heaven. But God is saying, nah, you worship me, and here on earth, I'm going to expand your borders. Here on earth, you're going to have riches. But Jesus is all like, nah, we got you later. I'll write you a check for that.
Does it talk about the expansion of borders there?
Yeah, it says,
plan.
Yeah.
for I will cast out nations before you and enlarge your borders. No one
Yeah.
shall covet your land when you go up to appear before the Lord your God 3 times in the year.
So just another connection to Ezekiel, Deborah, I think I had already made, which is the notion that of this greater Israel thing, that you might hear some assholes these days from Israel saying things like from the river to the sea, but they're not talking about the Jordan River. The most far right insane people are talking about the Euphrates River to the Mediterranean Sea, as visaged by Ezekiel, which is to say greater Israel. So imagine from all the way from Iran to the Mediterranean Sea.
Wow.
Yeah, so in other words, Netanyahu needs to be stopped. I apologize. I'm not trying to bring in politics in this moment, but I think just to point out that this is where these assholes are getting this shit from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where they're getting this. Okay. You shall not offer the blood.
Does everybody take a gasp when I start talking? I feel like I am
No,
so single-minded these days. Yeah.
Very much. I really appreciate when you talk. Like, I learned so much from you, and some things have to be said. Okay. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, and the sacrifice of the festival of the Passover shall not be left until the morning. The best of the first fruits of your ground you shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. The Lord said to Moses, write these words in accordance with the words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. He was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. This is the 10 Commandments. And yet, for some reason, these are not going up in the classrooms in the United States. And I don't know why a lawyer hasn't fought that in court and said, wait a minute, if we're putting up the 10 Commandments in classrooms in America, these should be the 10 Commandments. Because if I was a lawyer, I'd go fight that.
Wait, Howie, what are you making the distinction? Sorry, I don't understand.
The 10 Commandments that they're putting in the classrooms in the United States are love your God with all your heart, soul, that one. They're putting up the other 10
they're putting in
Commandments.
Exodus 20.
Thank you. Exodus 20. I couldn't think of the chapter.
Well, how did they pick between this, Exodus 20, and Deuteronomy?
Because Christians think that the Exodus 20 are the actual 10 Commandments because they were
put 30
the first one. Nope, they're not doing it. They're going to put those up, and they don't even know these exist.
I'm going to Texas.
You know how many
I'll see you later.
people?
I gotta go. I'm going to Texas. Somebody get these assholes on the phone.
God, it's just so dumb. All right. Let's finish.
It's not their fault. It's not their book.
Yeah, I can't say that anymore to them because they're stealing the book and trying to say it's theirs anyway. It is their fault. Stop stealing the book and changing it and bastardizing
poop faces.
Okay. The shining face of Moses. Chapter 34. Verse 29, Moses came down from Mount Sinai. As he came down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the covenant in his hand, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he had been talking with God. When Aaron and all the Israelites saw Moses, the skin of his face was shining, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses spoke with them. Afterward, all the Israelites came near, and he gave them in commandment all that the Lord had spoken with him on Mount Sinai. When Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But whenever Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he would take the veil off until he came out. And when he came out and told the Israelites what he had been commanded, the Israelites would see the face of Moses, that the skin of his face was shining, and Moses would put the veil on his face again until he went to speak with him.
Do you know what the original?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Do you know what the original translation of that was? For the Hebrew is karnei or, and the original translation was horns of light. So if you look at the King James version, it'll probably say horns of light were emitting from Moses' face. And if you look up Michelangelo's Moses, you will see these 2 small, almost like, a pan horns coming out of his head. And this is the origin of the anti-Semitic trope that Jews have horns.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a trope.
That's good. That's because you're a wonderful human being. When my dad went to college, his roommate walked up to him, started putting his fingers in my dad's hair and say, "All right, show me, where are the horns?"
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I want to see this Michelangelo's Moses. Oh, yep.
There they are.
Oh, wait. If I do it just right, can you guys see at the top of Moses' head there? Yeah, I will do that. Thank you. Yeah, there they are. Let's read the King James. Let's see. That was 34. We want to read like 34.
I'm 37, but
Shut up, you're just a little kid. You're just a little kid. Okay, let's see what it says. And the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee 2... Oh, wait. Wait. I want to read 34, not all of it. Okay. But when Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone. And Moses put the veil upon his face. That's not KJV, is it? I said KJV. How come it's not saying?
It sounds like what you just read. And I think it's a little bit before. As Moses comes down the mountain, he had rays of light. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. No, I don't know. Maybe because this is just online. Like it might be like a newer version of the KJV or something.
The NKJV.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Oh, well, I can't find it, but I do believe you. But I didn't know about Michelangelo's Moses either. I didn't know about the horn. So dumb. God, people.
When I wore mitpahot all the time, so I would wear scarves. I would be accused of the reason I wore mitpahot was to cover my horns.
Wow. Fuck. Do people just sit out there looking for reasons to hate other people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you supposed to, if you're miserable and you need somebody to blame?
It's horrible. You know, it's really weird because I look for reasons to like people. Even when I don't like them, I go, give them a chance. Maybe you're not seeing the whole thing, you know?
when
least
you
for the
get
most part. There are
angry,
some people I just
it's
don't like.
when you get angry and frustrated with people, it's like the most jarring thing, but it also reminds me that like you're also a person. Like you're just like the kindest, most wonderful person that I've like met on this app. And then when you get frustrated with people, it's like, oh, Crystal's also a person.
I am a person. I was saying the other day, Justin came up on Joyful's Live and he was our co-host, and I was doing real good, Bert. I was really like not losing my shit with people, right? And then this guy comes up and he goes, "Hi, fat face," and I don't know if he was talking to Joyful or myself, and I didn't care, and I immediately went, "Hey, butt wipe, can I get you?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, why did I have to do that in front of Justin? Why couldn't I have stayed calm, cool, and collected? Instead, no, I had to go right for the butt face. But yeah, sometimes people just piss me off, you know? All right, you guys,
But
that
even
is
that's
it.
like a nice insult. Like butt wipe, like that's like
That's way better than what I say to people, which is I'm not going to take homework from someone who looks like a thumb.
oh my God, that's so good.
I love you. All right, you guys, that's this week's Non-Believers Bible Study. Let me look. While I'm looking at this, Rabbi Hannah, are you going live anytime soon that you'd like to share with us? Got anything
I
coming
would
up?
really love to say yes. Unfortunately, my youngest daughter is still healing, but she got really ill, and she is autistic, and she already is high support needs, and this illness made her where she needs like 24-hour attention unless she's asleep, which is why you haven't seen me on social media very much, is because my wife and I have to like be no farther than like 3 feet away from her at all times. Otherwise she has a meltdown. That's just due to the profile of autism she has.
Yeah.
So the only reason I get to be here at the moment is because she happens to be asleep right now. So she's starting to re-regulate. So it's likely you'll see me more often now. But for a few weeks, it's been like, at one point I was sleeping on the bathroom floor, just so that she
Oh,
had somebody next to her during her illness. So yeah, it gets pretty intense around here sometimes.
my daughter used to get the kind of migraines that make you throw up until you pass out. And
Yep.
that's the only way she would get any rest. And she wanted me to just be there with her during the whole thing. And sometimes these went on for like 72 hours straight.
Oh yeah.
And we had to be in complete darkness, no noise, no anything. And so
Yeah.
I would sit there with her and the only time I could get out, even if she was asleep, if I got up and left for too long, she would wake up and notice I was gone. So I could just take like a quick bathroom break, and then I'd have to be
Yep.
back in there with her.
Yeah, my wife
Bert,
and
are
I have
you?
been tagging in and out.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. Well, but unfortunately for me, my daughter was like, "Yeah, Dad can't tag in for this.
Oh yeah.
Dad's
I'm
not
so
you,
sorry.
Mom." And so, and then, eventually she was like, "I don't need my mom for anything." And I'm like, oh, okay, no, but I'm just kidding. She's amazing, but yeah, she suffered really bad migraines. Bert, are you going live now? Are you doing your own lives? I watched you play or listened to you playing your music the other day, and it was amazing.
I got so depressed on Sunday with what happened in
Oh,
Boulder, and I was like, I think I just need to just sing Merle Haggard for like 3 hours, and it helped. And it was nice to see some
good.
people come in, and I appreciated that. And I saw that you shared it, and I really appreciated that. Yeah, I mean a little bit. There were a couple times where people were having good conversations, and the host had to go or something, and I was like, I'll pick up the reins, and I think I might actually. So this is something that I kind of came out of that. So I was playing the guitar, and then Cyber came in, and he's like, "Is this a talent show?" And I was like, "It can be." And then I kind of thought, like, wouldn't it be great if there was like a great I tried to run lives where it was like tell me your humble
You cut out for a minute. Tell me your humble brag. I think is what I heard, but then now I can't hear anything.
I'll think about it. But if you're interested in that, maybe reach out to me, and I'd like to partner with it.
I think it'd be really
I'll
cool
also
if you
say,
did it.
thank you. I've also been hanging out with Tiny Science quite a bit, and Thrail and Think on their lives. And I'll say, Tiny is great because he really is just so calm, cool, and collected,
Yeah.
and really just puts up like he's like the best of the Phil Bros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then with Thrail, I really just appreciate the non-anxious asking why and really sticking to unpacking the beliefs. And I think that is really what the country needs these days, whether it's political beliefs or religious beliefs. People need to be able to deconstruct those things and in a way that is safe and healthy and uh, in a way that I just think people are clinging to these ideas that are frankly just so unhealthy and are increasing suffering in the world. And so that's my promotion, I guess, is
Well,
ask why more often. Yeah.
if you enjoyed today's Bible study, Rabbi Bert often, or Rav, if you will, often joins me. So make sure you follow both Rabbi Bert and myself. Also, you guys, while we finish up here, can we get to 20,000 likes? Can you guys tap that out for me? And also help me reach my gift goal. We're less than 200 coins away from reaching my gift goal. I'd really appreciate while we finish up here. Deborah, will you be going live anytime soon?
Sunday.
All right, you guys, make sure you're following Deborah. And if you have not purchased Deborah's book yet, you're being ridiculous. You're just fighting knowledge is what you're doing. You're just saying, I choose to be ignorant. Now, go get her book. It is Crucifying the Bible by Deborah Grace. It's available on Amazon. I highly, highly, highly recommend you get an actual physical copy because the physical copy has tables and stuff in it. And so make sure you go pick up her book today. It is available on Audible. I did get it on Audible and regretted it immediately when I realized I didn't have all the tables and stuff. So do yourself a favor and go pick up her book today. And AK, are you doing lives now?
No, I've thought about it, but
Well, you are on panels and you're an amazing panelist and we love you. So if you guys aren't following AK, you should. Check her out when she goes live with Deborah. And also she's on several panels. So like check out Fluff Skidoo and I don't know, who else do you like regularly show up on?
Cyber Deconstruction, Deborah's, Christina's, Ty, the goddess. I'm trying to think. I kind of hop around. Yeah. So I'm like the roamer and then I mod for a lot of them too. Yeah.
Yes. She's amazing. And also her content, she's in Alaska and you get to have this whole, like, it's like my favorite show, this whole show about her moose, Helga, that comes to visit her all the time. So make sure you check out AK and Helga. Okay. You guys, let me talk to you about my schedule a little bit. Let's see. We're already on Wednesday. So Thursday, tomorrow, I am live at 4 p.m. Pacific time with Joyful. A lot of times we have a special guest. I don't remember if we have a special guest tomorrow night, but like last week, last show we had Justin live with us. So make sure you're following Joyful Apostate. And we'll be live on Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Also, Saturday, June 7th, I am going to be live at 1 p.m. with Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. My special guest is going to be Dark Knight. If you're not following Dark Knight, it's DARKNYT. He's amazing. He's super calm, chill, very knowledgeable. I love watching him. A lot of times you'll see people like Mac Luster, Christina Carroll, Rhea, and others up on his live with him. So make sure you go follow Dark Knight. Let's see. Also Zena May. She goes up on there a lot. Okay. Then Sunday, June 8th. I'm really excited about this. I have Decon Q&A with CrystalJae at 11 a.m. So hopefully, like basically right after Atheist Sunday School on Sunday with Mezzo. My special guests are Benny and Seth. If Benny and Seth, although Benny has started to do more lives on his own, Benny is the founder of the Deconstruction Junction Discord. He's amazing. He has helped many, many creators with their YouTube channels, with modding. He's an amazing support. And his boyfriend, Seth, I want to call him husband. It just doesn't feel right, even though they're not married. They're going to join me, and we're going to talk to them about their relationship, their deconstruction, their support of the deconstruction community. So please come join us after Atheist Sunday School on Sunday, June 8th. And you guys, I have more coming up, but I'm not going to read you my whole calendar. Just make sure you follow me. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. If you are here on TikTok and you have a YouTube, please go to my YouTube channel. Link is in my bio. I am CrystalJae on YouTube because I'm trying so desperately to hit 500 people. I really appreciate it. You guys, thank you so much for being here. AK, I love you. Thank you for being here. Bert, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the gifts, the likes.
Before you go?
Sure.
Do you think that there will ever be like a convention or like some sort of, I just feel like it would be so cool to do like a convention where all these people could come and like learn together and I think that would be one of my questions for Benny. I don't know if I'm able to like.
I got news for you. Hang on one second. Let me find it real quick.
I'm sorry if I'm distracted. I got a new puzzle and I'm just like in the zone putting it together.
Oh, that's cool. I love doing puzzles. Okay, there is a thing called BahaCon. Okay, I don't know what that stands for, but BahaCon is an atheist convention in Michigan/Canada, August 8th through 10th. Justin and Sarah are going to be there. It's there's a channel in the Deconstruction Junction right now, and so they are looking to see if people all want to get together and go to that. So there is that possibility. I've been looking at putting one together on the West Coast because everybody does them on the East Coast, and I'd like to see a West Coast one. So I am thinking of doing one out here. I know that like Deborah's out here, I'm out here, Mezzo's out here.
West Coast, Best Coast.
That's right. So, yeah, I think that those are things that are definitely in the works for sure. Just not very far in the works yet.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I love you. I will see you around the mean streets of TikTok. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Thank you, YouTube. Have a great day. Bye. Oh, should we raid somebody? Oh, I said it too fast. Should we raid somebody? You guys let me know if there's somebody I should raid before I shut down all the way. Anybody out there live right now?
Don't know.
Let me check one thing. I might be able to tell on here. Live announcements. How about, is Mac Luster still live? If Mac Luster is still live, everybody go raid Mac Luster and tell him Crystal sent you. I love you guys. Bye.